Decisions that last, home buying step two. Build a real home buying budget. If you're thinking about buying a home, a real budget is the foundation of that everything else sits on. Not a hopeful budget, not an optimistic budget, a real one based on how lenders think and how you actually live. This is step two of my home buying series, and it builds directly on step one, where we talked about understanding your credit before a lender does. If credit tells a lender who you've been, your budget tells them what you can actually carry. And more importantly, it tells you the same thing. This step isn't about judgment, it's about clarity. Lenders do not make decisions based on intentions, they make them based on math. And clarity, not willpower, is what prevents surprises once you start talking to lenders. There's no single right way to build a budget. You can gather all your bills and pay stubs and write everything down. You can use a spreadsheet, or you can use a budgeting app that helps surface forgotten or duplicate charges. What matters isn't the tool, it's honesty. I've seen people discover that they were still paying for services tied to things they no longer owned. I once found that my phone bill was still charging me for a Wi-Fi hotspot and a car that had been totaled. Without digging into the details, that charge could have kept hitting every month. That's the value of tracking, not control, but visibility. A quick warning here. If you cancel $20 a month in subscriptions just to replace them with a $20 budgeting app that you stop using, nothing actually improved. Switching one charge for another doesn't accomplish anything. What all of this tracking leads to is something that lenders care deeply about: your debt to income ratio, or DTI. DTI is not an opinion, it's a mathematical snapshot of how much you earn and how much of that income is already locked into contractual payments. That's exactly what the spreadsheet that accompanies this step calculates for you. And if you're following along and you want something concrete to work with, the written version of this step includes a budgeting spreadsheet that I have built specifically for this purpose. It's a simple fill-in-the-blank worksheet that lets you enter your real numbers and see your debt-to-income ratio laid out the same way that a lender will look at it. And before you download the spreadsheet and start entering numbers, keep listening. This episode walks you through what the results actually mean and why the spreadsheet is built the way that it is. Here's where many buyers get surprised. Lenders count debt very differently than real life does. They do count things like rent, credit card minimum payments, personal loans, student loans, and car payments. What they do not consider is groceries, childcare, utilities, gas, phone bills, or streaming services. That's why your lender might say, yeah, this works on paper, while your bank account is screaming, absolutely not. And your real life budget and a lender's budget often look nothing alike. And a quick note on student loans, because this will trip people up a lot. For budgeting purposes, you should include your student loan payments as either your required payment or 0.5% of your outstanding balance, whichever is higher. Even loans that aren't currently in repayment still count in debt to income calculations. We'll go deeper into how lenders apply this in step three, but for now, the important thing is that ignoring student loans creates a false sense of affordability. From experience, including my years working with USDA, most lenders are comfortable when back-end DTI stays in the high 30% range. Around 38% is where borrowers can usually live their lives and afford their house. Once you move into the 40% range, the margin for error gets thin very quickly. At that point, every unexpected expense is painful and can derail your payment track record. The real question you need to answer before a lender ever sees your paperwork isn't whether you can make the payment, it's whether you can keep making that payment without sacrificing stability. Online calculators will often show you a mortgage estimate. What they almost never show you is a real full cost of owning a home. That includes property taxes, insurance, maintenance and repairs, higher utilities than your apartment, and HOA dues. Your mortgage payment might be lower than your rent, but your total monthly cost probably won't be. And rising costs matter too. One of the most common problems I saw at USDA involved rising property tax costs and insurance premiums. When loans have escrow, and most do, increases don't arrive gently. They show up as escrow shortages, lump sum payments due, or higher monthly payments. And these hit hard when your budget's already stretched thin. Savings are the uncomfortable topic that keeps people in their homes. Homeowners need a rainy day fund because something will go wrong. Your AC will go out, your water heater will stop working, your roof will start leaking, or someone will lose their job or have to take a pay cut. The traditional 3 to 6 month rule for savings is solid, but that can be difficult for many people. The point isn't perfection, it's momentum. Even small, consistent contributions add up over time, and that cushion is often the difference between a bad month and a financial crisis. There's also something people don't talk about enough on the other end of the spectrum, which is you can absolutely put too much money into a home. Yes, putting more down saves interest over time. Yes, rolling some closing costs into the loan is normal, but draining every account to buy a home leaves you house rich and cash poor, and that's far more dangerous than a slightly higher payment. Liquidity matters. A quick note on where your money is parked. I've reviewed a ton of people's bank statements, and I can say with confidence that most people earn far less interest than they should. I've seen couples with tens of thousands of dollars sitting in accounts that earn a fraction of 1% interest when they could have been earning hundreds of dollars a year more with no added risk. A smart budget isn't about spending, it's about making your money work for you. Whether people admit it or not, home ownership comes with trade-offs. A newer home or a newer car, eating out more often or building savings, flexibility or long-term roots. Homes can be powerful tools for stability and wealth building, but they are not the right choice for every season of life. This step is to help you identify which season you're in. If you understand your credit, you know where your money's going, and you have a realistic picture of your debt to income ratio, you'll walk into the next step with confidence instead of anxiety. Looking at your budget today and saying, I can't make this work, is not failure. It just means that right now isn't the right time for you. That might mean paying down high interest credit card debt and reassessing when your cash flow looks better. The upside is that less debt often improves your credit profile, which can mean better terms when you are ready to move forward. Not now does not mean never. This is the moment where you stop guessing and grab the reins. Next step is 3, choosing a lender who explains your options instead of selling to you. Someone who will show you the why behind the numbers and not just the approval.